Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. A new twist in the case of a 6'6", 400-pound escaped convict. RCMP have now charged William Bicknell with kidnapping and unlawful confinement with a firearm. Police say a 72-year-old Sherwood Park man was checking his farm near Vegreville on Monday, and RCMP say Bicknell was there and held the man hostage for 10 hours. He was unharmed. RCMP believe Bicknell may be in the Peace River area. He is considered armed and extremely dangerous. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's so easy to forget that none of us would even be here in the Lloydminster area if it hadn't been for a group of people over a century ago who were willing to brave the bitter elements in order to build a new life for their families. Tegan Winkfield goes back in time and files this report.
Free land. That was the promise which brought people to Canada by the thousands, and Isaac Barr wanted to provide it. But as Emily Zeben from the Lloydminster Archives explains, the land wasn't exactly for free.
The stipulations were that you had to be male, over 18. They had to also break the 80 acres of that quarter section that they were going to get, and then at the end of the 3 years they would get title for the land.
In the early 1900s, England suffered from unemployment, and Reverend Lloyd promoted emigration to Canada. Lloyd and Barr joined forces to bring over a group of people who wanted to begin a new life. Barr had planned for 500 colonists, but ended up with over 2,000 people, and this caused problems along the way.
They were in a single car, several families, one stove, no diner cars. It was just a very crude way to travel.
A Barr colonist, Alice Rendell, writes home and describes the travel conditions as horrendous. She says, "No sleeping accommodation, and as to the lavatory arrangements, they were simply a disgrace to civilization. Many a time we had felt famished with hunger, to say nothing of being starved with the cold." But despite difficulties, another colonist, William Hutchinson, managed to focus on the positive in his letters to his wife. He writes, "There are homesteads as far as the eye can see, and grain elevators. It is indeed a fine country and fulfills our expectations." From Saskatoon, the colonists traveled by wagons. Zeben says the travelers suffered from loss of luggage, freezing temperatures, scarlet fever, and by the time they had reached Battleford, Isaac Barr was deposed as he had been blamed for many of the hardships. Join me tomorrow as I continue following the lives of those people who braved unthinkable conditions, following their dreams to farm their own land, and ended up settling in Lloydminster area. Tegan Winkfield, Newcap News.
The production crew of a major Hollywood movie being shot in Provost, Alberta are looking for some additional extras. Titled Barlow Man, the film is written, produced, directed by and starring Corbin Burnson. It's about one young boy's journey to find his own faith. The movie has been shooting for the past 2 weeks, and extras are needed for a few different crowd scenes. With dropping their first 3 games of the Northeast Alberta Junior B Hockey League Championship Final, the Lloydminster Bandits had their backs against the wall last night. Cold Lake had outscored the Border City Bunch 12-5 heading into Game 4. You could tell early on that the Bandits were frustrated with their lack of scoring as Brewman runs Dustin Hyde. When we get to the highlights, coming up. All right, here we go. There we go. Runs Dustin Hyde. I guess if you can't beat him, why not just take him out, right? Of course, Sean Jolly stands up for his netminder, but man gets in all the shots. Later on, the Bandits on the man advantage, but it's the Ice with the best scoring chance. Corey Lester strips the puck, then goes in all alone, but he can't slip it by Jesse Natchuk. Midway through the opening frame, Cold Lake strikes first on the power play. Dallas Ansel takes the stretch pass. He is stopped, but Nico Bourget buries the rebound. It's 1-0 Ice after 1. In the second, the Ice add to their lead. Dennis Cadron in close finds Justin Zellweger. Out front, he bangs it into the open cage. Cold Lake up 2-0. Jump to the third, 3-0 CL. The home side finally get on the board. Ian McAllister spots Michael McKay in the slot. He wires it into the back of the net, cutting the deficit to 2. Moments later, the Ice looking to restore their 3-goal lead, but Natchuk stands his ground with a remarkable save, then swats the puck out of harm's way. Back the other way, the Bandits trying to draw closer. Cameron Stark back to McAllister, but he can't wrist it past Hyde. With a minute to go, Cold Lake ices the game. Bourget from the red line hits the open net. This kid had more goals in the series than the whole Bandits squad. The Ice take it 4-1, snapping Lloyd's attempt at a three-peat. So the new Northeast Alberta Junior B Hockey League champs are the Cold Lake Ice. This is the franchise's first league title as they swept away the Bandits in 4. They will now represent the Northeast Alberta Junior B Hockey League at Provincials in Leduc starting March 31st. Going through Lloyd to get to Provincials is exactly what the Ice wanted to do from the beginning of the season.
It's great to see our crowd showed up like that and be as loud as they were, and these kids deserve it, man. I mean, there was no, we weren't going home without this, guys. This is what we wanted all year, and you know what? If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, and Lloyd is the best. So you know what? We're going to take it from them for this year, and we're going to enjoy it.
We battled hard. Would have been nice if, I guess, put that effort all series, but I mean, we didn't give up, and I was glad to see that, and we lost with class, I'd like to say.
We brought all we had in the third period. It's a little too late, but we got to hang our heads high. We went 18-0 in the new year here, and it's a big stepping stones for a bunch of the rookies.
We came a long ways this year. We weren't even supposed to be in this position. You know, everybody basically wrote us off from the start of the year after all the guys we've lost over the last couple of years, but you know, these guys came together at the right time as a team and did a great job.
All right, and that's all the time I have for news, weather, and sports tonight. Have a good evening, everyone.